How's it guys, and welcome back to another episode of Game On Garage. Today we're fixing the Mazda's overheating problem. We're going to need a thermostat, some radiator flush, and of course some good quality antifreeze. It's a bit cold, but let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing we have to do is add our radiator flush. So what the radiator flush is going to do is get up all that rusty gunk, the corrosion, all the things build up, not only inside the radiator, but in the water passages of the engine as well. Try and add the whole bottle. You might have to drain a bit of the coolant. It should be in the car for around 10 minutes. So go for a nice drive, get the car up to temperature. Also important to note is that you should put your heater on full so that the heater core also gets some of the radiator flush and gets cleaned out as well. Alright, with that done, let's go for a drive. Let's go with heating full on, and off we go. This is what makes the Miata awesome. You really don't have to push hard to have a lot of fun. With your car up in the air, get yourself an 8mm socket to take the protective cover off. The drain plug is in the middle of the radiator. Get yourself a star point screwdriver to get that loose. And remember to keep your spill bucket close by so you can dispose of the old antifreeze safely. Removing the radiator cap really gets the steam flowing, and the radiator should be empty in no time. While the radiator is draining, we can remove the upper radiator hose as we want to get the radiator out. So easily remove 1-2 clips. Disconnect the pipe that goes to the overflow, and then there's 2 bolts, one on either side of the radiator. Disconnect the fan, undo the bottom radiator hose, and the radiator will slide out. Undo the 2 bolts holding the thermostat in, and then wiggle the thermostat until you get that loose. And just have a look at that gunky water mess left in the thermostat housing. Yeah, we definitely need to clean this. Even the thermostat seems rusted. To help limit future rust, it's a good idea to give the thermostat housing as well as a thermostat housing cap a proper clean. Now I just used any old sponge as well as some running water, and must say, turned out pretty good. After scraping the old gasket off, remember to do it on the thermostat housing as well. While we wait for the engine block to cool down, as it's not a good idea to rinse a hot engine block with cold water, we're going to clean out the overflow pipes, and this rusty water gets in everywhere and blocks everything. So all you do is give it a good rinse and ensure that the water flows freely out of all the pipes. There we go. And that one as well. While we're at it, we're going to remove the overflow tank and empty that as well. So that's still containing some old gunky water as well as radiator flush. So just get your 10 mil, take out 3 screws, one there, and one down here. With the overflow and pipes back together, it's time to go rinse the radiator. With the radiator flush and the engine flush done, you can drop the radiator back in after replacing the drain plug. Carefully slide the radiator down until it catches on the brackets at the bottom. Redo the bottom radiator hose as well as 2 screws. Now we can go inside and trace our gasket for the new thermostat housing. Since it's quite difficult to get parts for the MX-5 first gen in South Africa, I couldn't get a gasket to fit on the thermostat housing. So I just ended up buying a whole sheet of gasket paper, and then we can just easily trace one. So find yourself a corner where the paper isn't too creased. You just trace out the thermostat, the 2 bolt holes, and when you're done, you can just cut it out. There we go. With the outside shape cut, it's time to cut out the inside where the thermostat should go. Now, since you can't trace here, all you have to do is use your dirty fingers and press on the edges. This will make an indent on the paper and you can cut it out. Use the pencil to punch a hole in the middle and use the scissors to cut all along the crease. And there you go, one successful homemade gasket. With our gasket cut out to size, it's time to put everything back together. So get your new thermostat, ensuring that it's the right temperature. Remove the protective rubber cover and then place the thermostat in its housing and put the top cover on. Now we can put the bolts back in. Careful not to over tighten the bolts, as that will damage the gasket. Now we can redo all the clips. And put our top radiator hose back in. With everything put back together, you have to remember to fill the radiator back up again using some good quality antifreeze recommended for your car. Now, as I'm aiming for a 50-50 dilution ratio, there's 2 ways of doing it. The first is pre-mixing, so adding 1.5 liters of antifreeze, adding 1.5 liters of water in a big jug, mix it up and then just fill it up. The other way, which is I'm going to do it, is since I know that this car has a 6 liter coolant capacity, I'm going to use about 3 liters coolant and 3 liters water. But to ensure that I get the dilution ratio right, I'm going to add 1.5 liter of antifreeze and then fill this up with water and add the water. Move on to my next antifreeze, fill up with water and add the water. It's always safer to be a bit more concentrated on antifreeze than being lean and running too much water, because then you get all this rust we saw today. Since the car cooled down completely, you can just add it straight into the radiator. If the car was still hot, this would not have been a good idea. With the first bottle done, ensure to get underneath the car and check for leaks. Everything seems fine. If it seems like the radiator can't take any more antifreeze or water, it's time to turn on the car so that the coolant can be rerouted through the whole of the engine. Remember to keep your heater on full temperature and fan speed. Also, last but not least, fill up the overflow tank up until the max line. And there we go. Our cooling system flush is done. Start the car and let the system bleed itself while topping up and checking for leaks where we put the new gasket, and just to be sure where we had to remove and redo some of the hoses and pipes. Remember your overflow bottle, keep that full as well. Alright guys, so there you have it. How to fix your overheating problems by doing a complete coolant flush. It's a bit difficult to know if we fixed our problem, as it was sort of intermittent. It didn't happen all the time, it didn't happen every time, but we're going to monitor it over the next few weeks, drive it as much as we can, as far as we can, to see if we still got some overheating problems. If you're new, please consider subscribing. If you like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up. In the meantime, remember, it's not game over, it's game on. How's it guys? Welcome back to another episode of Game On Garage. How's it guys?